Welcome to the Positively Portugal Football Report for Round 24. My name is Howie. Before we get to the Primeira Liga, we start with the first leg of the Taça semifinal. Sporting 2-1 over Benfica at the Alvalade. Could have been worse. They had a third goal called back, so now they move on to the Estadio da Luz for the second leg. It's just a one-goal difference with those two teams. Basically nothing. Moving on to the Primeira Liga, Arouca beat up on Chaves 5-1. Moreirense and Rio Ave played to a scoreless draw. Vitória found their balls and kicked three of them past Estoril 3-1 there. Same deal for Braga, but it was 3-0 over Estrela. Portimonense and Vizela played to a scoreless draw. Casa Pia and Gil Vicente, another scoreless draw. Sporting over Firenze 3-2. Another home game there for Sporting, but the goals are starting to leak in. The defense is starting to look a little shaky, and they're going to need to patch that up. They're still playing for 3 trophies. The shocker of the round, Porto 5-0 over Benfica. What a rotten week for Benfica, but honestly, the story there is not the score. We're going to come back to that game. Famalicão 1-1 draw with Boa Vista. So the story there with Porto and Benfica, look, it was a rotten week for Benfica. They lost first place of the Primeira Liga. Sporting now 1 point ahead of them, plus they've played one less game. Now, that being said, look, everyone has to take an ass whooping once in a while. Even Real Madrid once took an ass whooping. I mean, not once, but as recently as last spring when they lost 4-0 at Manchester City. So everybody takes an ass whooping. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, Sporting still has to play against Benfica, Arouca, Porto. They have a harder schedule going forward than Benfica does. So Benfica's not out of this. Just like they're not out of the Taça, they're only down by 1 goal there going into their home game. And they could still very well win the Europa League. The problem here, what happened Sunday, is disgraceful. Benfica's social media department went silent during the game. And we don't know if that was their decision, if that came from upper management at Benfica, but what poor sportsmanship. Just absolutely embarrassing. On Twitter, they stopped reporting after the 4th Porto goal, but on Facebook, there was no updates after the 2nd Porto goal. I mean, really bad look for them. Really, really bad look. And that's not to say anything bad about the players. That's not anything on the fans. Just what a poor decision by the management of the club. I mean, own it. You had a really bad week. You didn't just lose to Porto, your biggest rival. You lost to Sporting, your city rival, your derby rival. Own up to it. These things happen. It's not the end of the world. Benfica can still easily win the league, the Taça, the Europa League. Just own it, man. So now the standings, we've done a little bit of a flip. Sporting back on top. They also have that game to make up against Famalicão. Benfica 1 point behind them. Porto still in 3rd. Probably not going anywhere, but, now they have a little bit of a chance. And the 4th place spot is still Braga. So Braga in Europe as of right now. Chaves and Vizela still in the relegation zone. Portimonense moves out of the relegation playoff. That makes me happy. And replacing them is Estrela. So, that's all we got here for this week. The team of the week, well, you can't say anything about Porto there. I mean, they just got it done. And with Porto, it was like one of those things where, yeah, it's been a little bit of a disappointment in the domestic league campaign. They had that big disappointment in the Supertaça against Benfica at the beginning of the season. And if memory serves me correct, they also lost to Benfica in the first league fixture. So this is kind of a revenge performance. And look, Porto got the job done. And they got the job done in a way that really nobody thought that they would. So Porto, team of the week, biggest loser. I mean, you got to go with Benfica. I usually don't like to make it in the same game. But look, just an overall rotten week for Benfica. But again, they still have everything to play for. They can still win a treble. So we're going to wrap it up here. We will see you next week. Until next time, thank you for watching.